What's going on, heavy hitters? Welcome back to Heavy Hitter Media. If this is your first time, yep, it's time for another hot topic. Well, the one and only bling bling pastor Bishop, yeah, right, Lamor Whitehead is back in trouble. Well, y'all be sure to subscribe, comment, or like. Come on back, so let's have this heavy conversation and let's dig a little deeper.
Story. The Brooklyn pastor who was robbed of expensive jewelry during a live stream church service has been indicted on federal charges and is now in custody. The U.S. Attorney's Office says Bishop Lamor Whitehead is accused of fraud, extortion, and lying to the FBI. According to the indictment, Whitehead convinced a parishioner to invest $90,000 of her retirement savings with him. He's accused of spending the money on luxury items. Prosecutors say Whitehead extorted $5,000 from another victim and lied to agents about his cell phones.
So y'all just sit back, relax, put your earphones on, turn it up loud while you clean up, watch TV, laugh, whatever. Just let me read this to you, and we're going to get on through it. Brooklyn pastor arrested on charges of defrauding a member in his flock. Lamor Whitehead, famous for designer suits and jewels, had himself been the victim of a brazen armed robbery. Now he faces an array of federal financial fraud charges, as if we didn't see this coming. In the months since masked gunmen robbed a flamboyant Brooklyn pastor during his Sunday church service, he has portrayed himself as a double victim of the crime itself and the subsequent media scrutiny that dredged up allegations of fraud that he had trailed for years. Everybody thought that I was a villain, the pastor says on Sunday in his most recent live stream service, but now they're seeing I was anointed by God. Baby, God gonna get you. Hours later, Bishop Whitehead, as he is well known, was arrested. See how God works. Monday morning on charges of fraud, extortion, and lying to the authorities. Duh. Look at the flash. You can't live that flash shit and be all over social media. Whatever. Federal prosecutors in Manhattan said that he solicited money from victims, including a retired parishioner, through threats or false promises of enriching them, and then kept it. In one case, the authorities said he falsely claimed he could use political connections to make millions through business deals. He's still an old fraud. That's why he went to jail the first time, for fraud. The bishop's preaching at his small church, Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries, was based on the prosperity gospel, which emphasizes the benefits of accumulating wealth while worshiping God. Child. Yet he's the one driving a Rolls Royce, wearing Gucci, Balenciaga, Fendi, Prada. Girl, man, these pastors are crooks. He was known for years in Brooklyn for his designer suits and luxury vehicles and had long sought wider legitimacy, once running for borough president in Brooklyn and boasting of his friends with Mayor Eric Adams. Now he name dropping. He faces one count each of wire fraud, attempted extortion, and false statements. His lawyer, Don Florio, said, Bishop Whitehead denies these allegations, and we are going to fight this vigorously. Bishop Whitehead appeared in federal court in Lower Manhattan Monday afternoon, wearing a white sweatshirt and camouflage print pants, and pled not guilty. He was released on a $500,000 bond. The indictment, unsealed, detailed allegations that echoed claims that have dogged the bishop for years. In spring 2022, according to the indictment, he tried to persuade a businessman to give him $500,000 and a stake in some real estate transactions. In exchange, he promised to secure favorable actions from the city that would make both of them millions, even though, according to the indictment, he knew he had no ability to deliver on his pledge. Clearly, see that the slick and past the tongue. While the indictment does not name any city officials or specify any actions, it raises the question of the bishop's relationship with Mr. Adams, who distanced himself from Bishop Whitehead on Monday. I've spent decades enforcing the law and expect everyone to follow it, he said in a statement. The investigation is being conducted by the FBI and prosecutors from the Public Corruption Unit of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan. The charges against the men accused of robbing the church were brought by the federal prosecutors in Brooklyn. Okay, that's the difference. Early in Bishop Whitehead's relationship with the unnamed businessman, the cleric also used threats forced to get $5,000 from one of his businesses, prosecutors said. At the direction of the law enforcement officials, they were already watching the bishop, the man made the payment, according to the indictment, an indication that the investigation into Bishop predated the robbery in the summer. Again, I'll say, an indication that the investigation into the bishop predated the robbery in the summer. Bishop, they was on that ass. The charges related to the retired church member were initially revealed in 2021 lawsuit filed in Brooklyn and an investigation into the bishop's wealth. Just like these reality shows, y'all have this unexplainable wealth. The people want to know how you got it. In 2020, a woman who had recently visited the church was recovering from surgery, prosecutors said. Bishop Whitehead offered to help her buy a new home. And the woman, Pauline Anderson, 56, sent him $90,000 that she had withdrawn from her retirement account. She sent that man $90K. Her retirement money he took. Ooh. In parentheses, I am a man of integrity and you will not lose, he texted her. She asked for her money back, but he said it was too late as it had already been invested. The false statement count arises from an encounter with FBI agents during the investigation into his conduct, according to the indictment. The agents executed a search warrant for Bishop's mobile phones. He told them he only had one. Whitehead owned a second phone which he regularly used to communicate, including to send a text message describing it as my other phone, shortly after telling the agents he only had one, according to the statements from the prosecutors. Bishop Whitehead, as a young man, was a mortgage broker with an office in the Empire State Building. Oh, so he did? Because you got to study to be a broker? Well, I guess, con artists are smart. He was sued in 2008 by a former client and symphony conductor named Maximo Bragado Darman, who said Bishop Whitehead asked him for an investment of $200,000 that he said he would quickly repay with an added $25,000, according to the lawsuit. He did not repay, and the lawsuit led to the judgment for the conductor in $306,000. Pay that man his money. He also was convicted in 2008 of several charges, including identity theft in Long Island, where he had taken out loans in other people's names and used money for cars, motorcycles, according to the evidence presented in the trial. Girl, this thing been a con artist for years. He spent 5 years in prison. When he emerged in 2013, he immediately founded his church. Okay, his next biggest fraud scheme, because churches are non-taxable, and all you got to do is have a slick tongue to find some vulnerable people. A damn shame. His followers have said that his expensive taste is not offensive, but inspirational. Dummies. Rappers, singers, the way they attract people, that's what he's doing, Chantel Vickers, a member, said last summer. But according to court records, Bishop Whitehead's persona as the so-called bling bishop was built in part on deep debts he seemed unable to pay. In 2019, he stopped making his monthly payments on a Mercedes-Benz and a Range Rover in New Jersey, leading to a $68,000 judgment against him. The same year, he wrote a bad check for $164,000 to a company that built his home in Paramus, New Jersey, according to the lawsuit. Well, child, that's pretty much it, y'all. As you can see, he has a long record of being a freaking con artist and a thief and a liar. Went to jail for it, got out, did the ultimate scam, got a church, found some flunkies, found some believers, started taking their money. Now he's back in trouble. He gonna do some time. He gonna do some major time. Y'all, that's it. Thank you for joining. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And y'all be easy. Peace.
Can you help me?